wins, 8 defeats, with 9 knockouts to his credit. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Terry Ford. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 158 pounds. He wears the white trunks with blue and red trim. Now living here in Las Vegas, Nevada, he is a veteran of 54 fights with an outstanding record of 53 wins, only 4 defeats, 47 big wins by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary 3-time world champion, Julian the Hawk Jackson.
Let's take a look at the rules as governed by the Nevada Athletic Commission.
We went over the rules
and their control board. 3 knockdown rule in effect. No standing 8 count. Fighter may be saved by the bell only in the last round. Only the referee may stop the fight. 10-point must system. Accidental foul. They'll go to the scorecards after 3 rounds. And there is Terry Ford, 30 years of age, born in Racine, Wisconsin. Took the fight on 1 week's notice. He says he was in the gym. He has a very awkward style. In fact, he lost to Harold Graham in November of 1996, and he says showboating was the problem. His last knockout 3 years and 3 months ago. Terry Ford and Julian Jackson slated for 10 rounds. Jackson in the white trunks, Ford in the blue. Ford has 4 first-round knockouts in his career, the last coming on February the 5th of 1993 against John McIntosh. That's 4 years, 5 months, and 3 weeks ago. Julian Jackson with 13 first-round knockouts, the last coming against Jaime Montano 3 years, 8 months, and 10 days ago.
Terry Ford has a habit of keeping his hands low. He said that's just the way he fights, and that, of course, can be a very dangerous proposition against Jackson, who, as we've noted, has lots and lots of power.
You take a look at the knockout ratio, and you see Jackson 83%. 47 of his 57 pro bouts have ended with knockout wins. He has 4 knockout losses. Knocked out in August of '95 by Quincy Taylor for the WBC middleweight championship.
That was his last championship try. And at age 36, it is interesting in this sport. When you have a name, and Julian Jackson surely has that, there are always opportunities for you.
Known as the Hawk, referee Joe Cortez. Spacious ring here at the Tropicana. It measured, at least when I paced it off earlier, 22 feet by 22 feet inside the ropes.
And I think with the boxers we have tonight, these 2 gentlemen, as well as Santana and Canizales, I don't think they'll be needing to use all of this ring.
Ford felt that fighting Jackson was beneficial to him because Jackson did not know him, and he knew the style of Julian Jackson, but the question remains the skill level.
Yeah, that's the big problem. Ford has never, ever, ever been in the ring with anybody like Julian Jackson. His wins primarily in the Midwest. Harold Graham, the gentleman you mentioned, who was a former world title holder, he fought him in England. By far the best boxer that Ford has faced.
Yeah, he's been in with Vince Phillips, lost to him. Anthony Jones, knocked out by him, knocked out by Bronco McCarthy. Good body work by Jackson here in the closing seconds of round 1. And Gert Jacobson as well.
Yeah, and those were all lower weight fighters, even though they're very good fighters, so he's in against the bigger man tonight.
Closing seconds of this first round. Scheduled for 10 in the middleweight division. Julian Jackson and Terry Ford on ESPN's Championship Boxing. Championship Boxing, we are live. Julian Jackson in the ring against Terry Ford. 10 rounds in the middleweight division. Jackson in the white, Ford in the blue and red. Jackson, the former middleweight and junior middleweight champion.
As we look at the numbers in round 1, we see how well Julian Jackson did. And he continues to do well, and he just hurt Ford.
Yeah, it was a left hand, a chopping left hand that first hurt Ford. And the count is at 5 by referee Joe Cortez.
8.
Ford is up at 8.
You all right? Okay.
Taking as much time as he could. Let's see if Jackson can finish him off. He has 8 second-round knockouts in his career. Good right hand by Jackson. Ford in a heap of trouble.
And when you see a veteran like Julian Jackson, mixing his attack to the body and the head is impressive, and Joe Cortez thought it was impressive enough to stop the action.
Julian Jackson records his first knockout since March the 17th of 1995. It is the 9th second-round knockout of his career as he stops Terry Ford in quite simple fashion here in round number 2. Let's take a look at the first punch that hurt Terry Ford. We'll get a look at it here in round number 2. I believe it was a chopping left hand.
Julian Jackson has power in both hands, always has as a professional. The hook started the problems for Ford, and then he continued with the hooks, and then there's a body shot that actually ends up putting him down. Jackson can punch with either the hook or the straight right hand. He's always had a great left hook, and there he whacks Terry Ford with the punch pretty well and goes downstairs for good measure. We mentioned the power of Jackson, always present. Even when he's had his darker days in boxing, he's always been able to hit with power, with authority. And at this point, Joe Cortez says he's seen it up, and Terry Ford did not protest. From another angle, it is just as painful for Terry Ford. The body work, I thought, of Jackson was what was a little extra impressive here tonight.
And Joe Cortez does the right thing and steps in and stops it here in round number 2. Julian Jackson with his 48th career knockout. For the official time of the stoppage, our ring announcer, Jake Gutierrez.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Cortez stops this bout at 1 minute, 1 second of the second round. The winner by TKO, Julian the Hawk Jackson.
Julian Jackson says, nobody will run my career if I wait on God. He'll renew my strength, and after a bit of a layoff, he comes back in fine form and stops Terry Ford in round number 2. Terry Ford raising Julian Jackson's arm.